At some point, we all get the one tire fire, the one wheel peel. You know, it's embarrassing, right? You go out, try to impress your friends, want to do a burnout, and you leave them one little black streak in the road. That's not gonna work, right? The car's not gonna perform good. It's not gonna leave a line. Even with drag radials, it poses a problem. Well, we're having that very problem with the Retro Fox, and I'm gonna show you guys how to fix it. All right, so tonight, all I'm gonna do is show you guys how to like stack your clutches and take the measurements, right? And we're gonna go ahead and soak these things. This is the Ford Racing rebuild kit right here. I'll put all the information up for you guys. I picked this up from LMR. Wasn't too expensive. It beats, you know, paying somebody to completely rebuild your rear end when most of the time a clutch pack would do the job. All right, so tonight all I'm gonna do is show you the measurements, how they stack up. Then I'm gonna go ahead and soak them in this. This stinks. If you guys don't know, friction modifier is horrible. I mean, I can smell it from right here. All right, so here's how everything lays out right here. I suggest you guys look this up on your own. Don't base this off of my video. There's plenty of good information out there, but basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna start out with a shim. Then you're going to do a clutch, a steel, a clutch, two steels, a clutch, and another steel. Now there are other arrangements that I've seen that people have used. This is kind of like the revised arrangement from what I've seen. This will be my first time ever doing this, but shouldn't be too bad, right? Self-explanatory. So once you get the order correct, now you're going to need to measure these, and you will have to have a caliper for this. I don't recommend that you try to use, you know, a tape measure or anything like that. And what we're looking for here is around 640 to about 655 thousandths. It really depends. For me, I'm going to shoot for 645 thousandths dry. And now it is recommended that you squeeze these together, that you clamp them together. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a measurement without, and then take a measurement with it all squeezed up. So as you can see, about 647 thousandths, something like that. Now what we'll do is come in and just lightly, you know, squeeze them together. Nothing crazy, don't get carried away here. And let's measure and see what we got now, which is actually very odd, but it's actually more now. So now we're gonna go ahead and pour a little bit of this in here. Stinking crap. Ugh, this stuff stinks so bad. Okay, and we're just going to soak these overnight, actually, is what I'm going to do. I think they recommend about 30 minutes. So now they say don't stack these together because it doesn't get in between them, but it's perfectly fine, guys. All you're doing is just add. I was about to touch this. You don't want to touch it. Hold on just a second. All right, so all you want to do is really just get the clutch. The clutch is wet. If you've ever done motorcycle clutches, it's essentially the same type setup here. Oh my God, I just got that everywhere. Oh, that's gonna smell for 10 years. So let's talk about how I got to the 655 or 647 thousandths, whatever it was that I had. You have shims in here, different size shims. This is 35 thousandths, 35 thousandths. You have two of each. 40 thousandths and 40 thousandths. I chose to use the 30 thousandths shims in here. All you do is you adjust the shim one way or the other to get what you need. So while we have the car on the lift tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and put a new fuel filter in there. Obviously some rear end oil, the friction modifier. I will actually pour this friction modifier in with the oil tomorrow because I do believe in friction modifier. So it is a very good thing to use. So I'll be taking this, mixing it into that bottle, and putting it in the rear end. Also tomorrow we'll be changing the oil sending unit on the car and possibly a couple other things. So I guess a lot of you guys really don't know, but I was not like overly impressed with the way the Retro Fox performed with the supercharger. It was fast, don't get me wrong. The car, like you could tell the car was making power, but even with drag radials on it, like first gear was just a wash. And it's weird. It's hard to explain, but let me try to explain this for you guys. So you could be rolling in first and then just kind of like roll into the throttle, and the car just, you heard RPM, but the car wasn't moving, right? Almost like the clutch was slipping. But it didn't feel like tire spin because, as you all know, if you've got positive traction, the car wants to drift and get all over the place, right? You can feel that. Well, the car obviously wasn't doing that. If it's only spinning one tire, then the car is just going to kind of track straight. So it just didn't feel fast. And I thought something was possibly wrong with the car or whatever the case may be. It wasn't until I went and was going to do a burnout in front of Andrew's house that I realized that car was only spinning one tire. Now, I knew that we had a problem with this a while back, but I thought with the drag radials that the car, you know, that they were sticky enough to make the car go. Obviously not. It was still spinning one tire. Even out there in second gear, it was spinning the shit out of that one tire on the passenger side. So that's why we're doing this. I do believe now that the car is going to be drastically different, or at least I hope so anyway. Not on street tires. We're going to have to go back to our drag radials. So more than likely we'll be putting on the 17-inch ponies on the Retro Fox for a little while because that's where my drag radials are. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll get the Retro Fox on the lift and get all this stuff done. It's the next day and we now have the Retro Fox up on the lift. And the first thing I decided to do is go ahead and pull out the oil sending unit. All right, cool. I'll tighten all that up and hopefully that fixes our oil pressure problem. If not, then this car is on its last leg because this thing has no oil pressure, or not very much at all. So hopefully that's it. If not, then whatever, we'll address it as we need to. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the rear end in the car. After I tighten all this stuff up, I'm going to give you a brief overview on this, okay? I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Well, that's where everything we need to change is inside, which is right here. These three clutches, and there's three clutches back here. So first we have to get our pin out, and then we're going to get the spring out, then we're going to pull all this out together. All right, I don't know if you guys can see it from this angle, but we're going to go ahead and just take the bolt out right here. And the kit does come with a new bolt, by the way.
No, Dad, I got you.
You got me. Oh. Okay, from this point, all we're going to do is push our axles in, just like this. Already sounds like we dropped one. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, we can go ahead and slide our axles out a few inches just to get them out of the way. Yeah, something about like that. And from here, we just need to get this spring out. So the best way to do this is go ahead and tap the spring inward, or at least from what I've seen anyway, and then we'll spin it around and just pull it out from there. Also, you're going to want to take note of how all of your gears come out. So before I pull everything completely out, I'll just make a mark here. Mark this side so that I can see. Now all I'm going to do is rotate this until I can pull the gear out. Okay, so first we want to take this side off so that we have enough room. Not you, baby. I'm talking to the camera. Alright, so there's this side, and make sure you reach in, get all of your clutches out and everything else. And should be a shim in there. There we go. And there's our shim. Now all I have to do is pull this side out. Clutch pack over here. Okay, well, looks like that clutch disc is stuck. So that clutch disc was stuck in there. And now we should have a shim on the back side of that. Yep, there it is. All right, guys, so that's everything. Let me get everything over on the bench, get cleaned up, and then I'll show you guys what we got. So I do want to show you, these are the clutch packs that came out of the car. And if you look, as tight as I can squeeze them, I can get them down to about 40 or so, 41 versus our new set. So this was a 30,000 shim, I do remember that. I'm going to do that, that, two steels, a clutch, another steel, and as you see right there, roughly about the same, but the thickness on that should give us a smooth operation. But you know what, for the sake of it all, guys, let's go with the 35. Let's just do that. Let's go with the 35. We'll go ahead, snug this up, because I know that's the way most of you guys would do it. And if you squeeze this down, there's your tolerances, 655. So let's just do that. All right, and the way this is going to go on is just like this, okay? This side with the shim is going to go into the axle housing. All right, and there's our white marks. This one's going to go on the passenger side. It's really a simple task here. It's not that big of a deal. Just make sure everything's nice and flush like that. These little washers right here, make sure that they're still on there. And I think one of mine has already come off, so it's up in there. Like I said, these things pop off, guys. All right, just gonna roll this back in. Just lay your gears in like that, give it a twist, make sure everything is lined up, your little tabs, and then you're just going to ease this thing in. As you can see, there's a cutout where your tabs go. Just make sure that goes up in there and you should be good. Okay, so if you ever wonder how to get these springs back in, this is the best way that I've seen. Ran across this on YouTube. Just put this in a vise. This thing is under a ton of tension, guys. So just be mindful of that, okay? Squeeze it down. Really, I need some longer pliers for this, but we will see if we can't get that started. All right, so once you get the spring started, sorry, I think the camera was off for that. Let's go ahead and tap it on in. As you can see, everything went back in pretty good. Be careful on this center pin because it can be hard to go back in. Even if you have the gears lined up, the spider gears lined up, there is a good chance that it may not want to go back in. So be careful with it. Don't beat the crap out of it, but tap it in. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started up. Pressure looks good. All right, so now the oil pressure looks really good in the car versus what it's been. Honestly, guys, it was about halfway whenever it was cold like that, then it would drop down to almost nothing when it was hot. I think we got a good engine here. Only time will tell. I'll let it heat up. We'll check it again. All right, well, look, let's go ahead, take this thing down the road. I did put the new fuel filter in it.
It's got the new sending unit. It's got the rear end's been rebuilt. So yeah, should see a big difference in the car. I was gonna put drag radials on it, but honestly, I just want to see how it reacts now with the street tires. This car should get all over the road, and I'll know immediately if it's working or not. Both spinning now. You can feel the car getting sideways. Like I said earlier, we don't have drag radials on the car, so it's gonna spin, but still should pull better than it did.